FreeMMOStation.com.
Hey everybody, I'm SkySaga with FreeMMOStation, and today we're going to be taking a look at SkySaga and the Alpha 5 update. We're not just specifically talking about the Alpha 5 update, but of course I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, we got a new biome, we got a new character model that we can choose from in the character creator. Yeah, we got some new items and stuffs, but we're going to be talking about the whole of SkySaga, where it's been, where it's come from, how far it's going, and my expectations for the game. Okay, so spoiler alert, let's get this out of the way. I think this is actually a really great game. In fact, it is my personal favorite Minecraftian game, and I'm playing it currently more than Minecraft. And yeah, Minecraft is really awesome. We even have my own private server, all that good stuff. But SkySaga has like this charm to it, from its aesthetics, its gameplay, its community. All in all, I really like pretty much every feature about the game, and I can't wait to see what more features they add on, such as PvP, which is going to be fully fleshed out here pretty soon. Yeah, tragically, I wasn't able to get any PvP footage. I think it's only open at certain times. However, they do have the feature kind of implemented. I just kind of want to wait until it's fully, in the game, updated, and then maybe we'll do some for you, and maybe do a whole video just on PvP, because, the mechanics of SkySaga is actually, really good. If you ever try to do PvP in Minecraft, it was essentially almost impossible because of the server tick, because of the engine, the physics. It was just all really ugly. It wasn't really accurate, and it most of the time wasn't fun. If you do PvP in Minecraft, most of the time, for any legitimate server, you're going to have games that are objective-based, because if the player versus player just doesn't really work, you're not going to have no MLG CSGO style gameplay from that. However, in SkySaga, it's a little bit better. It's a lot of it better, in fact, because of their engine. It doesn't just look better, it literally plays better. And in fact, yeah, it's not just lighting, it's not just colors, it's not just the textures. No, it's not just the art style. The game actually runs and plays better, and it feels better too. There's a little bit of physics-based interaction. For instance, if you hit somebody with an arrow, it'll knock them back. And when I was playing on the tropical or the jungle biome, I thought it was this really interesting. There's actually this mine quarry, and you can actually knock down the different monkeys, it's kind of fun, but it's also kind of like a gameplay mechanic. Since I was soloing it, I couldn't just handle all these monkeys together, so I used my bow to knock them down to lower levels so that I could bypass them. So yeah, the game has a hint of awesomeness to it, right? There's a little bit of puzzles, sort of, with the killing of enemies. There's no actual puzzles, there's no Legend of Zelda, there's no Dark Soulsian or action RPG puzzles, which I think they should implement in the game, and I wouldn't doubt if it would be a feature in some of these dungeons, because they already have hidden rooms and stuff like that, so I could totally see there being like actual puzzles. Right now, the only puzzles we have is labyrinthian, kind of like mazes, and then also how to fight other monsters, which you would expect in an action RPG. Or like I said previously with the example of hitting the monkeys down to the lower levels, stuff like that, how to go about the game. However, if you play as a group, that sort of strategies kind of doesn't, it's gone. Basically, it's a Zergfest, which is like any other game. I would like to see a little bit more physics interaction. I mean, there is, right? Like, if you have a raid boss and he has a giant hammer, he will knock you back, and that's really freaking cool. However, they're not very fast, and they're kind of dumb, so I would like to see a little bit more aggression from the AI. Like, the AI doesn't seem bad. In fact, sometimes they'll run away from you, sometimes they'll jump away from you, they'll jump on blocks, and they'll kind of strafe around and stuff like that, but you're not going to see things where they call other NPCs. You don't see things where they actually jump at you, literally jump through the air at you. Yeah, stuff like that just doesn't happen, and I think that's kind of tragic. So I would like to see a little bit more aggression from the mobs, especially as you start getting into the higher level zones. Maybe in the lower level zones, it's cool to have the AI kind of a little bit more passive, a little bit more passivity with the bosses even, which is okay, I guess. It just, I feel like the speed of some of these mobs, especially later on, needs to be increased. However, let me just say that the game is very intimate feeling, and what I mean by that is that the islands, or these little zones, because everything is instanced, kind of think like Trove, right? Everything is smaller, more compact, but there's more to do in those more compact areas, okay? So you are going to be interacting with players in a more intimate way. You're going to be playing the game and interacting with the world, these monsters, in a more intimate way. So in that sense, I can understand why some of the speed is kind of toned down, but still, as you get into the later levels, it does increase in size. There's a little bit more complexity, especially it gets way more vertical, like I said, with the quarry. There's like multiple levels, and you could fall to your doom, and that's pretty cool, and there's a ton of hidden rooms and stuff like that. I really appreciate that. And by the way, that is the new biome with the update. It's the jungle biome. You also get the monkey character, which you can actually, it's not just a mob, like you can actually become a monkey character. It's like a new character creator skin that you can use. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see more what they do. I'd like to see a golem type of race, you know, like a stone golem-y kind of, I think that'd be cool. Anyways. So yeah, the game just feels a little bit more intimate, so everything is kind of slowed down. It's not like Trove, right? You're not going to be like spamming out these huge giant abilities and spells and effects and all that good stuff and breaking a million billion blocks at any one time and fighting 100 different monsters at any one time. It's not like that. It's more kind of like, kind of co-op-y. That's how I would describe it. It really feels kind of co-op-y. Like when you go into these worlds, it's just like Trove. You open a portal, you go into a new adventure. However, unlike Trove, it's like the portals are one-time uses. Anyways, so you go into an adventure, and there are people that are probably there, or they can spawn in during the adventure, and you just kind of like do it. Yeah, bosses respawn, chests don't respawn, but you can definitely take your time in these zones and kind of farm, grind up, mine resources. You can do all your Minecraftian stuff there, and it kind of be like a little bit social. And because you are breaking up the community into these different instance zones, it's not like the chat is being bombarded with like, you know, toxicity. No, you're talking with people, cooperating with people, giving tips and tricks, and maybe like shouting out, you know, like, oh, hey, here's this resource, here's some like cotton. If you really need cotton, there's a whole field of cotton here. So I mean, it's a little bit more intimate. So because of that, and because there's not like this huge giant spectacle of combat. No, I'm not saying the combat's not bad. It's really freaking good. I'm just saying that you're not gonna have spells or like Neon Ninja from Trove that's shooting like freaking neon shurikens. You're not having that in SkySaga. So I would appreciate more focus on that intimacy with the gameplay, such as well, right now we have mazes, right, for dungeons. I would like to see more puzzles. I would like to see more complexity with these different maps and having multiple objectives so that we can really sit and kind of hang out and play in these adventures, like truly have adventures. For instance, there's no quests. You know, Cube World has quests, and SkySaga, which really feels like this intimate action RPG that's online, you know, it happens to be online, I would still like more NPC interaction. Currently, all we have is quests inside the hub world, and those are pretty simple, pretty basic. You don't really interact with the NPCs. You just kind of accept the quest, and then, you know, you turn it in. I want to have NPCs on my adventure maps that aren't hostile, that maybe I have to work together with, maybe that I have to kind of do quests with them. Maybe I have to give them 5 cotton. Maybe I have to go across the map, farm some cotton, and go and then give them the cotton so I can complete the quest, and then they give me some sort of key or something so that I can move through the dungeon or another part of the map. I want stuff like that. I want more puzzles. I want more interaction with the actual game world in these adventures, and currently that's not in the game. Basically, even though it looks a lot more intimate, like I said, a lot more slower paced than Trove, it's essentially just like Trove, because you're just kind of spawning into an adventure map and zerging it down. Yeah, it's a little bit slower paced, but I guess in the long run, it's still incredibly repetitive, you know? Like, you're just kind of doing the same things over and over again. However, it feels different than Trove, of course. I really like it. I like the aesthetic, but I just want to see a little bit more puzzles and stuff like that. That's just, you know, that's my personal opinion, guys. However, I do like the variety of biomes. I think it's pretty cool. The generation of the different zones is also very interesting. However, in the lower levels, it's not going to seem like there's too much difference because these zones are really small. You know, it kind of just spawns you right in front of the objective. So there's not too much to do, really. But later on, yeah, it gets a lot more fun, especially like the desert. And my favorite so far is the jungle. The jungle is really complex, very vertical, a lot of fun. There's so much loot to be had too, man. There's just so much to do in the jungle biome. I really like that. I want to see more production in that sort of scale. Like, it's a little bit larger scale. There's a lot more complexity, more verticality, you know, and multiple objectives too. There's not just any one objective. So as you get later on, and as the game progresses itself, I imagine we're gonna get more and more complex structures, more complex objectives, and more complex quests as well. And I would really like to see some neutral or good NPCs in these adventures so that we can interact with those. I think that would be freaking fantastic. Now, let's talk about what's in the game mechanically, okay? You have, like, bows that I saw. You have swords. Oh, you can dual wield, too. That's pretty freaking cool. Yeah, dual wielding is a thing, guys. And so far, I don't know if it's actually worth it or not. It's not like you attack any faster. I don't think. I don't know. It's not really impactful to me what dual wielding actually does. There's also, you can also dash attack, you can normal attack. It seems like there's heavy attacks. I'm not sure if that's just like a critical animation or not. So yeah, bows, swords, I believe daggers. There are two-handed weapons as well, but I'm not sure if they actually just look different or if they interact differently, like a hammer between a great axe. I'm unsure about that. But so far, like in the very beginning of the game, you don't have a lot of flexibility with the different armors and weapons that you have. In Trove, you can pick a whole class, and you have a totally different playstyle basically. In this game, everyone kind of has a similar playstyle, and later on, it kind of evolves as you get more weapons. But I'm like, as a new player, as a first impressioner, I don't know what that is, and I'm kind of sad about that. And there's no magic that I can see right now. I don't really see any sort of magicalness. It's not like, maybe there'll be a spell book later put into the game. I think that'd be pretty freaking interesting. But so far the game is very, almost like melee, very melee oriented. I mean, there is a bow, but maybe we could see guns? I don't know, there is gunpowder in the game. Guns, some different kind of engineering weapons. I'm unsure. I think there could be a lot of creativity with the different weapons and the utilization of those. However, at the moment, that is not in the game, and I don't see any indication that that's going to be in the game at all. But yeah, speaking of attacking, of moving, of, doing anything in the game, basically, you do use stamina, and you have a good stamina bar. I haven't seen any items that increase it or anything like that, so I don't think there's any specialities or, anything that you can really, like, trait or customize for your character that's going to enhance it. Maybe not now, maybe that comes later on. I'd like to see that. I wish it was kind of a little bit earlier, so then I could play, like, more of, like, a roguish character. But with that being said, you use your stamina to attack, to dodge, well, you don't have a dodge button, but you could run around. Anyway, so when your stamina depletes, you can't run anymore, obviously. However, your attacks become slower and weaker, so it's really important to kind of like attack. And whenever it's really low, that's when you should probably run away, back up for a little bit, take a breather, man, and then go back into the fray. But because the AI isn't aggressive, this is really, really easy. And I kind of wish that there were at least some aggressive mobs. Not every AI needs to be super aggressive, but I would appreciate it if the game was a little bit more difficult. I'm not saying the game is face roll. As solo, it's actually quite, I think, a worthy experience. But it's not that fun without an aggressive AI. And if you play as co-op or even, as a Zerg, if you join into an adventure with like a bunch of people, it's really, really easy. And it's basically just a grind fest, just like Trove is. But let's talk about crafting real quick, because that's most of the game. It's not just combat as well. You can craft in these adventures as well. You are basically crafting all the time, unlike Trove, where you basically just have your little home plot. No, and SkySaga, you are crafting all the time, and sometimes you're going to need to for survival, especially because you need food. Food is to recover health. Sometimes you got to go craft a forge somewhere, and I think I really like that. I really like the idea of crafting and building things on these adventures, and then other players can stumble across this instance zone, and they can see where other players have been. They can kind of assume some different like adventures, or they maybe can glean some context for the puzzle that's ahead. Maybe it'll just help other players. Maybe you could even hinder other players. I kind of like that idea that you can craft on these open world instances that other players will interact with. I do appreciate that. However, the truth is that there's not really too much incentive to sit around in these adventure worlds. You go to the instance, you zerg it down. Even as a solo player, you just kind of run through it, essentially. You might mine some resources, you might kill some superfluous little minions or whatever. But honestly, for the most part, you just kind of go to the objective and you get out. You just GTFO. That's it. Done. I really want more incentive to sit around in these adventures, and I know I've kind of already said that, but I just want to say again, I think the game is really novel. It's got some really cool physics, artwork, but I just feel like the adventures are over too soon. So what are you doing outside of these adventures? Well, you go to your home island and you build stuff, and you kind of like, yeah, that's it. You just kind of build stuff. However, what you can do is, other than just building things for convenience sake, like chests to hold stuffs and your forges and all that good stuffs, you can actually make, decorative pieces. You can make a castle if you want to. You can, well, really make whatever you want. And one fun thing is that you can actually make minigame islands so that other people can kind of come and join and hang out with you and play with you, and you can go and find these, you can follow friends, go to their islands. Sometimes, most of the time, it's just like, usual survival home island. Oh yeah, by the way, on your home island, there's no like monsters, you don't have to worry about being attacked or anything. So really, it's like, just like, for convenience sake. However, you can make fun minigame islands, and that's probably half the game right there. Yeah, I know there is going to be PvP, there are these really cool adventures, but half the game is just going around and palling around with some different people, going to the different islands, and just kind of doing minigames, and just kind of exploring with that. Yeah, it's pretty fun, and it's definitely really good compared to other games, like even Trove, which has been around for quite a while. Its minigames aren't that great. You have like 2-3 solid minigame maps, really. Skyforge seems like it has so much more potential, especially because of its intimate nature, which I really appreciate, like I said before a million times. So yeah, you have other people's islands. You can have multiple islands yourself, and you know, including your home world, which is for convenience sake, and you also go to the hub world. So I want to directly compare this with Trove, because Trove also has a hub world. Trove's hub world is like literally like a flat island. There's like almost nothing there. There's just a bunch of people jumping around doing nothing. And then in SkySaga, you've got this hub world that is really incredibly vertical, has a lot to do, and looks freaking gorgeous. And, oh yeah, not to mention, you know, it looks great with a day-night cycle as well. I really love games that have night cycles. Holy crap, it just looks amazing, especially with the lighting engine, though it's a little bit wonky with when your torch in your hand and you're mining. It's a little bit wonky, but overall the lighting, I think, is pretty freaking good in SkySaga. I think, you know, just general, the art, the look of the game, it runs really well, and it plays well, and overall, you know, I can't really say too much about it. For an alpha, this does not look like an alpha. This looks like a finished product. Of course, you know, there's content missing, but just looking at the game, I'm pretty sure you guys can agree, it looks really freaking good. But this hub world really kind of takes it up a notch. Like, it's really good. They didn't need to have a hub world that looked like this, but because it is so much better and so much more social, so much more interactive than Trove's, yeah, absolutely. It's got so much character, and I think that can really bleed through everything I've said about this game. Everything about this game just has like this little bit of extra character. It doesn't seem like this is made from a smaller studio. This seems like a straight up full AAA game, and that's why so much in this like video I'm talking about things that I'm suggesting or things that I want to see, because hopefully you can glean what I feel the game is missing, you know, because, well, I said I want it in the game, but I really have high hopes for the game. I'm really optimistic about SkySaga. I think it can go the distance. I think what it's trying to do is it's taking sort of all of the faults from all these other games in the genre and just leaving it out. They're not messing with it. They're going for only the good stuff, right? They're taking the intimacy, the questing and stuff like that from Cube World, which I hope bleeds into the adventure. I really hope that we do the adventures, quest, stuff like that. I think that'd be cool, and I think they take like the sort of like social aspect, the sort of like casualness, the portal idea, everything, you know, from like Trove. But what they're doing is they're taking all the ideas from all these Minecraftian style games, and they're kind of giving their own take on the game and making it really intimate, and I really like it. It definitely separates itself. In fact, it's my favorite out of any of these. No, the worlds aren't giant and open and big, but I think actually because of that, it's a better game. It absolutely is. Normally, I would say that's a fault, but the game is better because it's focusing on those player interactions, those one-on-one, you know, the party interactions. It's not trying to throw you into with a million different people, which can be really toxic and to be disorienting and overall not very fun. So in closing, I guess I can say I just really appreciate most of the features in the game, almost every single feature. There's no feature in the game that I think it actually hit me the wrong way. You know, it didn't leave a sour taste in my mouth at all. Like, I guess you could say energy systems in mobile games. I think that leaves a sour taste in my mouth. There is no mechanic and there is no sort of like design in this game that actually makes me sad. Everything makes me happy in this game. Yeah, so that was just my rant style first impression or revisit of SkySaga. It's a really cool game, man. I'm just trying to be real with you guys, because that's what you appreciate, right? You want me in my honest opinion. So yeah, I'm going to give you that. I gave some suggestions for the game. I think it could be better, and I think it will be better. Remember, guys, this is alpha. I know it doesn't look like an alpha, but this is an alpha, and I'm sure there's going to be tons of features. I'm sure the landscape of this game is going to change so much. I mean, all these games, we've seen them evolve so much. Like Trove is a totally different game than when it was in alpha. Holy crap. So SkySaga, the way it is right now, I think can compete with all the other games. More so compete. And when it actually releases, I think it's going to be king of the castle. I think it's going to be king of the hill. I think it's going to be the best game. And overall, even if the art style isn't for you, I implore you to try the game because of the way it feels, the way it makes you feel is definitely unique and interesting. It's at least worth trying. So, that's that. I'm Skyland Shore with FreeMMOStation, and this was our revisit of SkySaga for the Alpha 5 update. And we'll absolutely do more videos in the future because this game's obviously pretty good. It's got some hype behind it. And all in all, we just kind of want to be a part of it. Want to see where it goes. And hopefully you do too. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you again next time.